The universe always repays its debts, and sometimes it sends the loudest storm just to prove you were always worth protecting. Let me tell you something that'll rattle your spirit a little. Scientists discovered that when a group of wolves is reintroduced into a forest after being absent for years, the entire ecosystem, from rivers to plants, realigns itself. Trees grow taller, rivers change direction, prey populations stabilize, all because a force of nature was brought back to restore balance. And guess what? You're that wolf. For years you've been surrounded by snakes in disguise, smiling assassins, and people who weaponized your kindness like it was a weakness. They counted on your silence, they gambled on your isolation, and they bet big that no one would ever come for you. Spoiler alert, they lost. Because someone is about to step onto your battlefield with fire in their eyes and your name in their mouth. And here's the beautiful part. They're not asking for permission, they're not negotiating peace treaties. They're ready to defend you at any cost. And just so you know, this isn't one of those nice guy, humble protector types either. Now, this one comes with receipts, a spiritual crowbar, and a petty streak. You know the type. The let me call out your enemies by name while eating popcorn kind of energy. And with them comes a major shift in your abundance, not a trickle, not a slow build. I'm talking about divine back pay for every silent battle, every betrayal you swallowed, and every time you kept your head high while your heart bled. Stay right here. Because what I'm about to reveal will make sense of why your isolation was necessary, why your abundance was delayed, and why your enemies are suddenly restless. They feel it. And after this, so will you. Let's get into it. Number one, the defender sent to you isn't a new ally. It's an old spirit in a new form. The person stepping into your life right now to defend you isn't some random new character that just showed up out of nowhere. This isn't about new friends or a lucky break. What's really happening is much deeper than most people will ever realize. This person's spirit has crossed paths with yours before, in different times, in different places, maybe even different lifetimes. There's a spiritual bond between you two that doesn't follow the normal rules of this world. It's the kind of connection that survives time, distance, and even death. And when your soul cried out for help, the universe didn't scramble to find someone. It reached back and summoned the energy of a protector you already knew but forgot you needed. This is why when you meet them, something about them will feel strangely familiar. It won't matter how long you've known them in this lifetime. It could be years, weeks, or just a few days. That sense of, I don't know what it is about you, but I feel like I've known you forever, is not your imagination. It's spiritual recognition. It's the residue of a bond formed long before you had a name, a job, or a past full of heartbreak. This person was assigned to your soul's path, but they were waiting for the right moment to step in, not because they didn't care, but because spiritual laws prevent interference before certain lessons are learned. You had to be betrayed, isolated, and broken first. You had to see who was really for you and who was waiting for your downfall. Now that you've endured what was necessary, this protector is free to come forward. Their arrival marks the moment your story shifts. The same way storms clear dead branches from a tree, this person's presence will clear the remaining threats from your life. And it won't be subtle either. People will feel it. The ones who plotted against you will sense it before it's even spoken. Because real spiritual protectors carry an energy that makes enemies nervous before they even know why. Number two, the major shift in abundance was deliberately delayed to expose parasites around you. The truth is, your abundance was never blocked. It wasn't lost, stolen, or delayed because of bad luck or some cosmic mistake. It was held back on purpose, not to punish you, but to protect you. The higher forces watching over your life knew exactly what would happen if you received everything you were meant to have while you were still surrounded by people who didn't deserve a seat at your table. They would have drained you dry, disguised as supporters, smiling in your face while taking mental notes on how to use your blessings for their own advantage. This delay wasn't about you being unworthy or not ready. You were more than ready. But the people around you weren't. There were too many parasites in your space. People who cheered for you in public but secretly prayed you wouldn't surpass them. People who only showed up when it benefited them and disappeared the moment you needed them. If the abundance that belongs to you had been released any sooner, it wouldn't have stayed yours for long. You would have been guilt-tripped, manipulated, and emotionally blackmailed into giving it away to people who never earned it. So the universe put you through a season of isolation, betrayal, and disappointment to expose them. Not because it enjoyed watching you suffer, but because it needed to make sure you saw who everyone truly was. No masks, no excuses, no second chances. Only when the dust settled and the wrong people were gone or revealed could the blessing safely reach you. And now, that moment is here. The energy is shifting because the coast is finally clear. The snakes have been identified, and your hands are no longer tied by loyalty to the wrong ones. What's coming to you now won't be interrupted, delayed, or stolen. It was always yours, waiting for the exact moment you stopped offering front row seats to people who clapped with one hand. This isn't random favor, it's delayed compensation with interest. And the ones who thought they got away with blocking you, they're about to watch you feast. Number 3, this defender is not bound by the same laws your enemies hid behind. The reason this defender showing up in your life is such a game changer is because they aren't bound by the same rules your enemies have been hiding behind. See, the people who tried to tear you down have been moving slick. They've been using morality, fake innocence, and spiritual loopholes to cover their tracks. They did you dirty in ways that couldn't easily be called out. Subtle betrayals, backhanded compliments, lies mixed with just enough truth to make you doubt yourself. And when you reacted, they played the victim. It was a setup, one where you were expected to either stay silent or explode and look crazy. And while you tried to fight fair, they played dirty the whole time. This person stepping in for you now isn't interested in playing by those fake rules. They don't care about pleasing people, keeping the peace, or protecting anyone's carefully crafted reputation. They weren't sent to comfort you. They were sent to expose the mess, shut it down, and defend you in ways you weren't allowed to defend yourself. The very spiritual codes your enemies used to keep you quiet don't apply to this one. Their job isn't to turn the other cheek or keep secrets to avoid conflict. Their assignment is to confront, reveal, and dismantle everything built against you. And the timing couldn't be better. Now that the masks are slipping and the lies are wearing thin, this defender has free rein to move in ways you couldn't. They're the kind of person who says what needs to be said, loud and unapologetic. The kind of energy that makes people nervous before a word is even spoken. They know how to get under the skin of those who wronged you. Not out of pettiness, but because balance has to be restored. And this won't be a quiet cleanup either. The same people who got bold behind closed doors will have to face what they never expected. Someone who can match their energy and then some, and it's going to leave a mark. Number 4, the spiritual realm was watching to see if you would sell out before they stepped in. The truth most people won't admit is that not every delay in your life was about timing. Some of it was about loyalty. The spiritual realm was watching you closely, not to see how perfect you could be, but to see if you would betray yourself. They needed to know if you'd start dimming your light just to be accepted, if you'd water down your voice, lower your standards, or agree to things that insulted your spirit, just to escape the pressure you were under, because that's what most people do when life gets tight. They sell out in small, quiet ways, laughing at things that aren't funny, staying connected to people who drain them, and making peace with situations that disrespect their soul. But you didn't. You endured the isolation, the rejection, the fake supporters, and the setups meant to break you. You stood in rooms where you were misunderstood on purpose, and you refused to shrink to make others comfortable. And that was what the spiritual realm was waiting to see, not if you could quote scriptures, burn sage, or attend rituals, but if you could hold your ground when it felt like nobody else saw your worth. That's the test that separates the chosen from the crowd. And the reason it took so long for divine help to arrive is because you had to prove you wouldn't trade your birthright for temporary relief. You had to show you were built to carry your assignment, even when it felt like a curse. And because you stayed solid, something ancient has been triggered in your bloodline. A curse cycle tied to betrayal, poverty, silence, and self-betrayal is breaking because of your resilience. You didn't just survive for yourself, you made it through for those before you who couldn't. And now the assistance you've been waiting for isn't coming as pity, but as reward. The spiritual realm is sending in reinforcements because you earned it. And what's about to be released on your behalf will shake the foundation of every system that counted you out. Number 5, some of your former enemies will be forced to publicly acknowledge your power. There's a shift happening in your story right now that has nothing to do with getting even and everything to do with restoring balance. The people who came against you, whether through lies, envy, silent sabotage, or straight-up character assassination, thought their actions would stay buried. They were confident you'd either disappear quietly, crumble under the weight of their schemes, or at best rebuild in silence while pretending nothing happened. What they didn't expect was the divine law of return to show up in full force, and it's about to hit. This time it won't be about private apologies whispered in guilt, or vague texts checking in out of nowhere. That would be too easy, too safe. The universe isn't interested in protecting their pride anymore. To correct the spiritual imbalance they created by publicly tearing you down, they'll be required to publicly acknowledge your power. It won't be negotiable. The same mouths that disrespected your name will have to speak it in respect. The same people who swore you'd never recover will have to admit, sometimes in front of the same audience they poisoned, that you were never the weak one. You were the threat all along. Some won't have a choice in the matter. Spiritual law demands it. The way energy works, when someone disrupts a divine assignment like yours, there's a debt created, and that debt can't always be paid in silence. So while a few will swallow their pride and try to quietly support you behind the scenes, others will be pushed to openly defend you, standing up for the very person they once mocked. Not because they suddenly grew a conscience, but because their peace, their progress, and their protection depend on it. This isn't revenge, it's reparation, a divine correction to show the world and them that your elevation was never up for debate. It was delayed for timing, not denied by man. Number 6, you were never meant to fight every battle. You were being groomed to command, for perception that's been carefully woven around you. There were people you trusted, people you thought had your back, who were silently working against you. These weren't enemies in plain sight. These were the ones who smiled in your face, offered words of encouragement, and played the part of your biggest supporters, all while plotting behind the scenes. They were waiting for the right moment to see you fall, and they thought you'd never know. But as the defender enters your life and begins to stir the spiritual atmosphere around you, things are about to get uncomfortable for those who've been hiding in the shadows. The defender's presence will stir up guilt and fear in those who've betrayed you. These hidden enemies, who once felt safe in their camouflage, will find their carefully built facades crumbling. The pressure of truth will weigh on them, and their secrets will be exposed. It won't be subtle. The spiritual forces at play won't allow their deception to remain in the dark. It's like a floodlight has been turned on, and the players in your life who thought they could act without consequence are now being forced to reveal their true intentions. The defender doesn't just protect you, it unearths lies, strips away the masks, and forces the truth into the light. Some of the relationships you've held onto for years will unravel in ways you didn't expect. People you once considered family or close friends will show their true colors when the heat is on. It may be shocking, it may be painful, but it's necessary. Ascension isn't just about gaining new things. It's about releasing what no longer serves you, even when it's tied up in long-standing bonds. The release of these toxic relationships is the price of your clean ascension. You're stepping into a new realm, and in order to ascend, there can be no lingering negative energy in your orbit. These betrayals, though painful, are necessary purges for your growth, so brace yourself. The people who once held a place in your life, those who seemed like loyal allies, are about to show themselves as they truly are. And though it may hurt at first, this revelation is a divine cleansing, a spiritual redirection that sets you free to rise without the weight of deception holding you down. Number 14. This defender signals the activation of your final form. For far too long, you've been operating at a fraction of your potential. Life's challenges, betrayals, and the constant pressure to survive forced you into a smaller version of yourself. You held back, adapted, and even shrank in certain situations, not because you lacked strength, but because survival mode demands it. It's like being in a cocoon, protecting the tender wings of your future self, while the world forces you to be grounded in a way that doesn't fully reflect your power. But the time for that has passed. With the arrival of the defender, something deep within you is awakening, a force that has always existed but has been hidden, waiting for the right moment to emerge. This is not just a glow-up or a simple transformation. This is the activation of your final form, the version of you that has always existed in the spiritual realm, the one your enemies feared the most and your allies never saw coming. They had no idea who you really were, and now they're about to find out. This is a shift that goes beyond physical changes or external success. It's the unleashing of a power that has been growing under the surface, waiting for the perfect moment to rise. The shift is not about fitting into a world that tried to suppress you. It's about stepping into a new dimension of your being, one that has been activated by divine timing and cosmic realignment. The version of you that is about to emerge will be unrecognizable to those who only saw the fragments of your strength. No longer will you be held back by the limitations of survival mode. You are about to embody a force that transcends anything your enemies thought they could control. This isn't a gradual growth. This is a spiritual coup, a complete and total takeover of your identity, purpose, and destiny. The energy around you has shifted, and with it, so has your power. Those who thought they knew you will be stunned. You've gone from simply surviving to fully thriving, and this version of you is unstoppable. The defender's role in this isn't just to protect you. It's to create the space for this final form to rise and take over the realms you've been destined to conquer. The world won't know what hit it, and neither will your enemies. You're not just evolving, you're transcending, and nothing can stop you now. As this transformative journey unfolds before you, understand that what's happening isn't a mere shift in circumstances. It's a cosmic recalibration. You've endured the trials, survived the battles, and emerged stronger, wiser, and far more powerful than you ever thought possible. Now, with the arrival of the defender, the world is about to see you in your full glory, the version of you that has always been destined for greatness, but was hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to break free. This isn't just about material success, fleeting victories, or superficial triumphs. This is about your soul stepping into its rightful place in the universe unapologetically. You're not just surviving anymore. You're here to conquer, to lead, to recalibrate not only your life, but the entire energetic landscape around you. The defender is more than just a protector. It is a force that amplifies your rightful power, clears the path ahead, and ensures that every challenge you faced only served to strengthen your ascent. Now that you've awakened to your final form, there's no turning back. Those who doubted you, those who tried to dim your light, will be left in the wake of your unstoppable rise. You are not the person they thought they could keep small, and you certainly aren't the version of yourself that played by their rules. You've become a force that cannot be manipulated or swayed. This is your time to truly own the fullness of who you are, to claim your space, and to build the empire that was always meant to be yours. As the universe steps aside and watches you rise, remember this: the battles you fought weren't just about survival. They were your training ground for this very moment. You are the embodiment of divine power and purpose. So go forward boldly, chosen one, because the world is waiting for you to show them what happens when the unstoppable force meets the unmovable soul. If you felt the power in